Good morning, everyone. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not used to public speaking, but today's theme is intention, and it fits really well with our business, the Conscious Club. So here we see the meaning of intention, and intention is linked to goal or purpose. And when creating the Conscious Club, it was really closely connected to a life's purpose, actually. So I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about the story about how the Conscious Club got together. And it starts, if you bring your attention to your intention, it will create an expansion. So what I noticed is, if you do this, you come into this flow of life. And if you're in this flow of life and in this expansion of creation, you will find out if you flow with life, life will carry you and it will bring you to some magical places. So, this is Thailand. This is where it started. This is in 2009. My sister went to the Parade in Amsterdam. It's a theater and food festival. And she spoke to someone for 3 minutes. And in that conversation, she said, I'm gonna travel to Thailand. And that person said, oh my gosh, you're traveling to Thailand. You must go to the sanctuary in Thailand, in Koh Phangan. And it's this hippie island on Koh Phangan. And so I was supposed to travel for 6 weeks in Southeast Asia. And my sister said, I want to meet you for Christmas there. And so we did. And we met on here, Merry Christmas from Haiwan, Thailand. This is us back then, ending up at this hippie island. And the moment I got there, it was this beautiful atmosphere, beautiful people, and it had a beautiful program with yoga, martial arts, but also cacao ceremony and a bunch of crazy hippies going there and ending up there for 6 months, staying, never leaving, this Hotel California effect. And the same happened to us. We were just intrigued by this island and really in awe of it. And it was our place to relax and recharge every year. So to charge our battery and to have a moment for ourselves. So we used to go there every year. It was really a theme in our lives. And so there was this moment in Amsterdam. I started a little business, Vincent Jules. It was one of the first creative living room meeting spaces in Amsterdam. And it's a small living room. It was literally a living room. So businesses came there, but it was also an art gallery and co-working space and you name it. And I came at this moment with Vincent Jules that a lot of other people were doing a similar thing, and similar things popped up, and I thought, it's time to move on, create something new, and it has to be a little bit bigger. And it was also the moment in my life that my own spiritual path and life lessons turned into something that I thought, maybe I should now start this spiritual center or something similar that we find in Thailand all the time. So I thought this is what the city needs, and we should bring it here. And this is how I thought of the Conscious Club. So I looked online, I registered it, and I saw it was still available. I thought, great. So cool. And I thought, okay, I think I'm gonna really do this. And sometimes life gives you a little bit of a push. So what happened is this garage here that you see on the left hand side, this is Vincent Jules, his living room, and this was the garage, big space. And the neighbor comes to me and says, well, it's a family business, has been in the family for years, and his son got sick, and he said, well, we can't have the garage anymore. And I said, oh, I'm really sorry to hear about your story. And he said, do you want to rent it? And I thought, this must be a sign for me starting the Conscious Club and having that venue. So I said, yes, I'm very interested, and I'm gonna follow up on it. And so I had a few conversations about that building and how we're gonna make it happen, and it all seemed very solid. So I thought, this must be the place. But before we moved on, I had a bit of a stress period in my life, and I thought I need to recharge. So what better place than Thailand, of course. So I went back to the island of magical space, and here is me and my sister. This is my sister, and two friends, Chris and Julia. So what happened? My sister said, "Come on over to Thailand," I hadn't been for 2 years because it got a little bit commercial, and I thought, nah, maybe it's not the vibe. And she said, "You really must go." So this is Wai Nam. This is one of the free bays of Koh Phangan here, and I ended up there. You can only get there by boat, and I washed up on the shore there with the boat, and I entered this restaurant, and I walked into this bunch of crazy hippies, and I thought, oh wow, this is really feeling like home again, and what a beautiful collection of people, and it was like you walk into your family with a beautiful group. And so all these people got together, and I think it were three weeks passed on of me having a good time there, and then this Amsterdam girl arrives. That's here, Sharon, this is my sister, and this is just another crazy day in paradise. We had a little dress-up party. So this is the sweet little coffee shack of Sharon. So Sharon, I met Sharon. She's also from Amsterdam, and she was in Amsterdam having a successful catering business called Oyster Girl, and she thought about life and thought, maybe this is not it. She sold her shares and went to travel the world, and she ended up there, and then she ended up staying up for 7 months and starting a coffee place. This is what Hotel California does to you. So, and that's where we met. So we had a great connection, and somehow this one day we were floating on an air bed on the sea, and when I created the idea of the Conscious Club, I thought, should I do it by myself or not? And when I was floating with Sharon and talking about life on this airbed on the ocean, I thought, she's the one. I think she's the one that I have to do this Conscious Club with. And although she didn't know yet because she had a coffee place and she was stuck in Thailand, I thought, okay, now I have to convince her. And I said, I have this idea, the Conscious Club, and I think you have to do that with me. I have to start it with me. So she's like, whatever. And floating along, and a little bit later, I went home, and once I got home, I said, well, I'm serious. So and she said, okay, well, send me an email with a proposition. And I did. So I sent her an email with the proposition of the Conscious Club. She said, okay, well, I have to go back to Amsterdam for a little bit, and then also to Ibiza and Mallorca, and a whole plan of all these things that she had to do. And I thought, okay, no problem, I'll wait, because I knew she was, she was intended to stick with me for this plan. And so we had a bunch of talks about it, and we met up here, and we talked about the plan and how it resonated, and it all seemed really great. So we took off the hippie clothes and ended up in this situation. That's us getting together and starting the business. So this is also us. Here's Sharon signing the contract. So what happened, I thought, okay, everything is set. Sharon is in, she signed, she's mine, and we have the garage, of course. And but what happened with the contract of the garage is like we're about to sign this contract, and this man is like, yeah, and in the contract you're responsible for the foundation of the building. And I'm like, that doesn't really sound really great. So that is like a no-go. So we're like, okay, what to do? So just have a little faith in life. You know, everything got brought together. So I thought, well, there must be a reason. And we said to each other, relax. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. So we let go immediately and said, okay, whatever happens, something better must come along. We always believe in that hippie intention of something doesn't work out, something better is coming along. And actually, it did. From the little garage, I stumbled on Vinda on the Lauriergracht, and it's quite amazing that that space was still available because it was empty for 8 years. It used to be a chocolate factory, and then it was the storage of a man who wasn't really interested in renting it out. He was building on this for, I think, 8 years, do nothing with it. And so we had a look, and I said, oh, Sharon, this space is amazing. I think this should be the space where we're going to end up. But it was a lot bigger and a lot more pricey. So we thought, okay, then it's 10 times the price I intended to pay. So how am I going to solve this? But I thought, okay, it must be solvable. So this is how we got together, and I said, okay, this first carbon neutral canal house of Amsterdam, it didn't look like that at all. It was a mess. There were holes in the wall. It looked like, okay, impossible, how are we gonna do this? But we thought, okay, if we get a lot of partners in and maybe crowdfunding, maybe I think we should be able to do it. So we did. And so we signed a contract. It was quite a hassle because there was this smooth real estate agent in between, and he tried to actually arrange it for one of his friends. So Sharon went over and to the owner said, we really want it. And back then I just, my relationship ended, and I thought, I'm gonna recharge for one last time in Thailand, of course. So I ended up in Thailand again, and I let Sharon sign the contract for me. So standing on a mountain with no reception on this rock, Sharon texts me, phoning me, yes, we have it. So I can share with the world right there. And this is quite a moment for me, and it's not a very spiritual talk, but it has also a bit of a spiritual journey, how we got there. But I'm standing on this rock and I'm posting like the video of the location, and I'm turning around, looking back, and suddenly there are 3 bald eagles. I didn't even know they were in Thailand, but 3 bald eagles a few feet away from me flying by. And I say it here, it's like, oh, wow, what's happening, best day of my life. And the bald eagle is my spirit animal, so it was a little sign of the universe saying, okay. And then I asked my friends, and she said, well, there were 3. 3 is for the Holy Trinity. So it's like a blessing from the universe to have this place. So this was an important part also in that. So I was there, Hippie Island, waiting for Sharon, because she said, of course you are there, I'm going there as well to recharge before we start our business. So this is us with a bunch of people and friends. I think we were with 15 Amsterdammers there, celebrating the New Year's there in a little get-together. And I had a little fling with Martin there for an evening, and Martin will be a bit more important in the story later on. Because here Sharon and I making a campaign video for our crowdfunding. So, and everything relaxed, so we relaxed and recharged, back to Amsterdam, starting our campaign. This is the upstairs of our building. Looks like a really solid campaign picture, this. Of course, people gonna invest in this. So, it's my dog. So we're at this percentage going smoothly, going well. We think, this is gonna be it, gonna work out. 53%. And then some technical difficulties. I'm like, oh shit, with the campaign. So all of our friends have invested, but no one outside of our friends or family list had invested. We thought, oh shit, now we're fucked. What to do? So then this magical moment of of Martin, my fling in Thailand. He sends me a message, my cutie pie, still possible to park some money for 3%, like 50K. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Is this thing from Thailand suddenly being our biggest sponsor for the project? Yes. This is exactly what happened. So we made our campaign, and we ended the crowdfunding. We said to our friends and family, come, do the contract with us. Martin's money, we're set, we're ready, let's go. So this is the office. This is the office of the Lauriergracht. It's like 300 square meters of mess. It had to be rebuilt completely. We had the money now to arrange it. But of course we had to get a few partners in to also make it climate neutral, because it's crazy expensive. And we had a great plan. This was our mood board, and this was also the mood board that was sent out to all of our sponsor partners. And this is actually our building drawing. It's a flip over chartboard. 1 square was 1 meter. It seemed very obvious for us. So based on that, this little picture collection and this beautiful drawing, we got a team of 20 people together to build the first climate neutral canal house of Amsterdam. And also based on those pictures, we got the sponsors together. So we had a crazy group of people. I phoned customer service of Eneco and I said, well, we're going to build the first climate neutral canal house of Amsterdam. You should come join in this project. And actually via customer service, we ended up with a beautiful collection of solar panels here. And the list goes on and on and on about a beautiful story about a crazy bunch of people rebuilding this place, because the owner of the building was a little blessing in disguise. And if you focus on letting life flow and carry you, you will be surprised of what develops there. So he was super slow with rebuilding. It was impossible. And instead of getting angry, he was on site building with us. And it was perfect because we had 0 construction materials to build anything. So we borrowed everything from him, including his technical skills and knowledge. So, and also a lot of friend building and getting together. And also a nice little perk was, we thought, how are we gonna paint the whole place? And there's so much to do, we need a few more extra hands. And then our friend Sasha said, I have this man Ali, and you can phone him. He's great, has a bunch of people working for him, and you can just phone him and he'll tag along. So we phoned Ali, and I said, well, Ali, we need a few hands, building hands. We need to do some painting, and we need to do some sandpapering. And he said, well, I'm a cleaning company. How is this possible? I said, well, can you paint? He says, yeah, maybe, but I can't guarantee it. I said, perfect, come along. So we ended up building with 6 of his cleaning staff. And then we ended up building the Conscious Club. And this is a little video, I hope it plays. Maybe, can I just click? Okay, great. And this is how it all got together, and it turned out pretty okay. So here's a video of our 2-year anniversary. Welkom, ik ben Elisabeth.
En ik ben Sharon. En we zitten hier samen op het Thaise eiland Koh Phangan omdat wij elkaar hier hebben ontmoet.
We zijn beide ondernemers en komen hier al een aantal jaar. We willen deze bijzondere plek heel graag mee naar Amsterdam nemen. zodat we ook in Amsterdam platform bieden aan het toeristenleven.
So we come back to, if you bring your attention to your intention, it will create an expansion. And it also reminds you, if you focus on the positive and you focus on the intention, if it's the intention, it will guide you there. And it's not impossible, it's something magical will unfold. So, thank you.
Time for questions, so if you guys have any questions, please go ahead.
Since you mentioned you let life carry you, has the conscious self developed in ways that you haven't expected since you started it?
Actually, it developed exactly how I...
Oh, really?
Yeah, and yeah, because the purpose and the intention was so clear about creating it, and we're full on in this intention of creating it, and because you're so focused, it's exactly. And of course, if you also like the garage, we thought, oh, we're gonna end up in that garage, but we ended up at the Lauwergracht. So if you let it flow, then it will take you where you're supposed to be. So you accept that, and that's where you go. But the program and everything else, yes. But of course, when we started, we thought, okay, is this gonna happen? Are we gonna get everything together? In this chaotic team, in this construction, we just dove in there. But it did, you know, yeah. You had a question? Yeah.
What exactly is the conscious club?
That's a good question. Well, it's a consciousness center. So we have a day start and a day ending with yoga, martial arts, breathwork, ceremonies. We have also talks. So we do everything in terms of consciousness when you want to relax and recharge in the city. So instead of us going to Thailand for a month, we thought we have to bring that vibe to Amsterdam. And while building it, a key in that idea was what is consciousness? So we said it has to be sustainable, it has to be conscious from the beginning to the end. And so we rebuilt it completely with all the organic materials, sustainable options, technicalities, all this, yeah. So, yes.
Something new arises. Because sometimes you have an intention and life takes you there.
Yeah.
But then also, it stays like that for a while, you accomplish that, and then something new.
Yes, something bigger arrives. It's true. So this is just the beginning. Yeah. That's then the next intention or life's goal. Yeah. That develops always. So this is our first little project. Yeah.
Did you ever felt when you have difficult moments that, okay, I give up, it doesn't work, I should stop, or how did you motivate to continue?
I never had that, no. I just knew this was meant to be, and in this journey I could talk for 2 hours of what happened. We had so many confirmations, and we had so many beautiful people walking in. It was just insane. It was just this flow of beautiful people and coming on our path. It was just destiny. So you just know, and this is just a small part of the story of how everything got together. But yeah, I was very convinced. Sharon was a little bit scared of the rebuilding, so I wish she was hiding in our intergalactic office. Said, I'm gonna focus on something else. I said, no problem. I'm very experienced and skilled in rebuilding. Yes. You still want to?
Since you start a conscious club, did you want to Thailand again, or you don't need it anymore? You have it in Amsterdam.
You want to?
Yeah. Do you need to go to Thailand?
Always, always.
I don't. You just want to have the same atmosphere.
No, but I think we accomplished something very nice, something that was needed in the city, and in a different way, also in a different vibe. So a little bit more of this time, and a beautiful collection of multiple things, not just a yoga school. We're not a yoga school. We have a beautiful collection of people maybe wandering through life, looking for a little bit of balance, and then you just walk into the door and have a menu. You can pick something from the menu and say, okay, I need this right now. You take it, come out, relax, breathe, go to work. Yes.
Where did you get the knowledge from to build climate neutral? It sounds quite complicated.
Yeah, I also, that is life. I had my house rebuilt, completely ruined from the start to the end. So I learned everything about building. So this is how, in everything, there's a blessing in disguise. Something goes wrong, and it learned me so much about building and construction work. And then you start thinking about construction work. So I started rebuilding another house, and then Vincent Jules also rebuilt completely. So I came quite experienced in building. And then when you have the knowledge, then creativity starts. Then you think, oh, this is the technique of how something works, a sink, for instance. And then you can explore, because then there are other options. And I had a friend who happened to be of a party that I knew from parties, and he was, I thought he was in cooling systems, but he apparently was in technical systems for making buildings climate neutral. So I had a beer with him. I said, yeah, cooling system, you know, anything? And he said, yes, I have a whole company of this. So we used his expertise, of course. He's also one of the partners. Yeah.
In terms of your partnership, do you guys naturally fall into roles, or did you have to define who did what, like, for their own business?
All natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because we knew each other for 2 weeks. I mean, and then you start a business together. So then it's also about following that, your intuition, and thinking, yes, yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel that your intention has changed between you had that goal, you wanted to do that, and now it's being achieved? Has it shifted between going after that goal versus the maintenance of that intention? Or how do you feel that your intention has evolved with every step that you've achieved?
Yeah, I think intentions always evolve, or creativity always evolves. So you set an intention for this, but your life's purpose is a different thing. So that is also an intention. So, and that is where life takes you. So I think that always evolves, that life's purpose of growing. I'm not a person that wants to be stuck. I want to grow and evolve. Yeah. So in those terms, there's always development. There's always growth. You always see new creative opportunities. Yeah.
Like your story sounds, really cool, and you talk about things that kind of happened in the past, and then the way you ended sounds like a happy ending. But since it's a present thing, this is still going on. I was wondering if you can share some of the challenges that you face now, given this current state. Like in the past, everything works out, but what about now? Like, are you facing any challenges, or is everything perfectly going as you expected?
Perfect. No, of course you find always challenges. I think they're more operational. So when you start the business, I'm a creator, so I flourish in creativity, and then you suddenly have to do management. That's a whole different thing. So I let Sharon do it. No, yeah, actually true. you have to go to your purpose. I think you have to do always where your heart lies. So in everyone that we work with, and also what in the creation process, we always followed where's your heart, what is your true passion, what makes you flourish. And of course, there are always little details that you might not like, and that is life. It's you know, you have always a few things, but in general, I'm doing exactly what I want to do. And I'm in my role. So yeah, in those terms, challenges, and maybe some operational things, because you have to set it, and then for the next thing to come along, you have to, of course, have it all set and ready. So that might be a little bit of a challenge, but not so much. It went pretty smoothly, I must say. But also having faith that it's destiny, that it's life purpose, all these people getting together. I had no doubt about the Conscious Club. I had no doubt that this place had to be there. So that makes it also different. If you believe that there's a reason why everything got together. Yeah.
So do you have, in the Conscious Club, you have set programs, but do you also rent out for seminars or?
Yeah. So during the days, it's rented out for big corporates. So when you walk around the Conscious Club, we share the story about sustainability, who are our partners, why did we choose certain things. We have a big story online about our business, and during the day, companies come to be inspired about sustainability. That's also what we wanted. We wanted to inspire not only visitors for yoga or breathwork or the program, but also companies to do the same, because we wanted to make a statement. If two young girls from a hippie island can make a first climate neutral canal house of Amsterdam, then big companies should be ashamed they didn't do the same. So that was a little bit, also important, very important to us. And then we said, okay, we must change today for the future and where we're going at, and we have to make a change, and you have to lead by example. So we wanted to lead by example so others would follow, and others are. That's really nice. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah.
Do you have any intention for the future?
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna evolve, of course, the Conscious Club. So we have now one location. We're up and running for 2 years, but we are working on many locations and some other things around the Conscious Club. Yeah.
Anyone final question?
Before doing your business project, what was your background?
My background was, I was already in Vincent Jules, so I had the little creative space, and I was also building expert by rebuilding already, and and IT also. So I do all marketing, design, commercial background, commercial technical background. Yeah. And then that was, of course, the beginning. So I had big ideas always, and then you have to start small. That was Vincent Jules. Yeah.
Then that's it, I guess.
Thank you.
Elizabeth.